This Ridley Report is brought to you by Libertania.com.
I'm sitting here with Ademo Freeman, aka Adam Mueller, from Miller, I guess you pronounced it, from copblock.org, and I wanted to get your reaction to, I went to a school board meeting and tried to ask the higher ups some questions about what happened to you.
Yeah.
You are being prosecuted because you recorded a principal
and secretary, as well as a captain at the Manchester Police Department.
Yeah, the part that's relevant here is the educrats that you recorded over the phone, trying to conduct an interview, and they chose to prosecute you for wiretapping.
Yes.
And I wanted to know what the school boarders thought about that. Of course, none of them they acted like they'd never heard of you.
Mr. Bowdre, one of your administrators was taped by a reporter who's now facing felony charges for recording him. You have a problem with that?
And you saw all these little interviews, where they're either running away from me or they're sort of halfway answering the question in most cases. What did you think of all that?
Well, I did see the video, and I appreciate you taking the time. It is funny how you see these similar reactions throughout the bureaucratic process. So the incident in question is wiretapping and me calling. And well, that's what public officials would say I did, or the system is trying to say I did. I think I was trying to create transparency and gain accountability. And when I was trying to do that, I got a similar reaction to the one you had. Only mine was more that I didn't know what I was talking about. And then now the people are saying, well, you don't know what you're talking about. So at both points, it's like confusion in the system. So
well, in fairness, they didn't actually say that to me. They mostly just fled, or some of them did answer my questions.
Right, the two women I seen that were like, well, I'm unaware of the situation and I have to get more.
Are you familiar with this case at all?
No, not at all.
Well, that says a lot. If you're unaware of the situation, then how effective are you being at your job? Because it was a rather big incident. Over 200,000 views on YouTube, the actual video of the assault, as well as the subsequent stories that followed.
Right, because you were trying to interview the authorities about an assault that allegedly occurred by cops in the building.
Yeah, questionable excessive force, I would call it excessive force, on a 17-year-old student in a public facility, school. And so they didn't want to be very transparent and upfront and spoken about it. Same with the reaction that you got. They didn't want to be spoken about it. Now, whether or not they did or did not know about it is the point I was trying to make, is if they truly do not know about it, then it shows that they're probably not doing their job effectively or taking it very seriously. If they did know about it, then they lied to you and they don't want to talk about it and they don't want to be transparent. Mm-hmm. A great note, though, that you got is that the folks weren't as worked up about the camera. I know you are in plain sight filming, and so it's in public space, so it's a little easier transition for them. But they obviously have no problem, and these are supposedly the higher ups of the school board. So why is it a problem with the secretary and the principal?
Well, they're just robotically applying the law, basically, is the way they look at it.
Right.
That was what that one lady said, who did answer almost all my questions, was like, well, he broke the law. It's like that really has anything to do with whether you were doing the right or wrong thing.
Exactly. That's another thing. If I did violate the law, is the law just, and does it warrant 21 years in prison?
Yeah.
I am fine, and this is my approach for the trial, is to go in. I wish that my victims, which would be the 3 people I recorded, could have had a conversation with me prior to this, but if they feel this is the comfortable setting, I'd like to go in, address how they've become a victim and how I can make them whole. And I do plan to ask them on the stand, does 7 years for each person, 7 times 3, 21, 21 years in prison, justify what I did to you that day?
Does that satisfy you?
Exactly.
Putting me in jail for 7 years, is that good enough for you?
Right.
To make you happy?
If they say yes, then I hope that the jury can act as the arbitrator and say, this. I would request that, maybe some sort of community service or actual service to the individuals harmed would be right. Maybe they'll find something in the middle. So I'd be fine to volunteer.
But again, you didn't really harm them.
No, I didn't. Yeah. But I would say
they harmed you by taking your money and putting it into that awful school.
Right. Exactly. To save face or to whatever, I guess to prove that I'm not a bad guy or that the justice system isn't needed. The justice system isn't just. So I would be fine to have a conversation if these guys are like, hey, give me 10 hours of community service. You know what? To show you that the system isn't needed, I'd be happy. I mean, I donate time. I'm generous and volunteer anyway. So the community service is going to happen. So
yeah.
This Ridley Report is brought to you by Libertania.com. Libertania, The Liberation of Conformia, is a children's book that makes freedom fun. Although, I guess it's already fun. Buy it on Amazon. Get it in print or use it on Kindle. Teaching without preaching, the ideals of freedom to the most important people in your life. Libertania.com